guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexia, and it has been a hot minute since I've been here, and by a hot minute it has quite literally been a whole year. I have missed being on here. I have missed making videos. I have missed yelling into the void about literature, so it's so cool and awesome to be back. Here's a little life update. You can feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to know any of this. However, what has happened in a whole year was I moved from Texas to Arizona. I am originally from Arizona, and we had moved to Texas for a job opportunity, and we didn't really like it, so we moved back and we are much happier. And I also got married on February 1st of this month, and yeah, so crazy. And basically the entire year, if you know you know, was just wedding planning, wedding madness, and I'm just so happy to just finally be able to relax, to kind of just settle in a little bit into our new married life. And on a bit of a sad note, I know my cat Disco is sometimes on our videos, and she actually passed away last October. Yesterday was her birthday and she would have been 3. But yeah, that was really sad and really hard to go through. I didn't want to really make a whole depressing tone of it. She did live a good life, so we are happy about that, but I just felt kind of a need to say it since I feel like she was a part of why I looked forward to filming, because she was always up to some mischievous stuff. But yeah, glad to be here. I was going to do a whole wrap-up of what I read last year, and then it was taking way too long, and I was like, you know what, I just want to do something simple, and maybe if anybody wants to see what I read in 2024, let me know and I can totally make a video. But for now, I'm gonna tell you guys what I read January and February of this year. So grab your little fun drink, sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. In January, I ended up reading 3 books. I started off with Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. I was just really craving a Christmas book. I started off strong, and once Christmas happened, and of course the holidays get so busy, I kind of got in like a little tiny slip, and I was like, it's not even Christmas anymore, what am I doing? But I'm glad I powered through it. I'm still kind of torn. I'd be between a 3 stars and a 3.5 stars. This is about our main character Stella. She owns a Christmas tree farm. That's always been her dream since she was younger. And it's kind of going into a financial downfall, and so she enters into a competition to win $100, yeah, that'll save the tree farm, $100,000 cash prize. However, she ends up lying on her application, and she says, yeah, me and my husband opened up this tree farm, and homegirl is very single. And there is a little fine print at the bottom of the application that says, if you have lied in any way to get this prize, then you will be disqualified. She goes into it anyway because she knows the person hosting the cash prize is a romantic, and she just really wants to help her cause. And so of course she's like, I need to find a freaking husband slash, or I think it's just a boyfriend, but she's like, I need to find a boyfriend stat. And who better than to act like her boyfriend than her best friend, Luca. Luca, of course, is like, you're my best friend, I'd do anything for you. And he basically pretends to be her boyfriend while the lady who's hosting this contest comes and visits the tree farm. We have a few tropes here. It's definitely friends to lovers, it's fake dating, and usually the gripe that people have with friends to lovers is that they kind of already act like they're into each other, so people are like, how did you not know that you guys were into each other? It's literally right there. And usually I'm like, well, they're like in this in-between of they just care for each other, but it can be misconstrued as being friends. But honey, with this one, I'm like, there is no, you guys are basically already together. homeboy, the way he finds excuses to like touch her, and the way he hasn't dated anybody, and the way he kind of just has no objections to pretending to be her boyfriend. I was a little confused because I was like, you guys are literally dating. And she's just so like, no, we're just best friends. And I'm like, Miss Girl, you literally had a boyfriend while you guys were acting like this? Absolutely not. There's a problem there. However, I think that's why I gave it like 3.5 stars. I think it's a little bit more than the 3 stars because I did think it was cute. I think their relationship progressed pretty well. I think it was pretty realistic for a friends to lovers, except for the detail I just mentioned. But other than that, it was a cute, light read. I think this is perfect for Christmas. I will probably reread it because it was just a cute, fluffy read. And hopefully I can read it when it's actually Christmas time and not New Year's. So yeah. My second read of January was Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. Listen, I rated this 2.5 stars. Booktok girlies are gonna come after me, but I said what I said. This one is about Ophelia, who discovers her mother has passed away in the middle of the night, and she is part of a lineage of witches, so the power now goes to Ophelia. She kind of gets into a fight with her sister about responsibilities and all this stuff, and she's like, hey girl, I've literally been responsible for you, and I need you to act maturely for once in your freaking life. And then her younger sister is like, oh my god, why would you say that? And she freaking runs away to this competition hosted by a devil, the king of devils, I think. Something like that. The king of demons or devils or something like that. And this king of devils slash demons has this giant mansion that moves around like a circus, and it's based off the 9 circles of hell. Each level in the mansion is based off the different circle of hell, and basically people never reach level 9, but if you do, there can only be one winner, and the winner gets one wish for whatever they want. Ophelia basically follows her sister to this place to find her, but then she's also like, hey, that'd be perfect if I freaking won and got a wish to be granted. But while she's there, she also runs into a phantom, and they fall in love and all this stuff. So the premise sounds great, right? I thought so too. But it did not deliver at all for me. What I didn't really like, and I feel like I'm the odd one out in this, is that this did not feel very descriptive to me. Honestly, the beginning felt like it was written by a completely different person because it was really descriptive, very immersive, and then we got to the house and it was almost like it was just about the romance at that point. And I feel like some of the levels were kind of descriptive, but I was never super immersed in the way that I think we really could have been. And there was a lot of potential because, like I said, the beginning, the writing was a lot different. But once we got to each level, I just thought each level felt like it was being rushed so much, and as it progressed, each level got more rushed and more rushed and more rushed. Kind of a spoiler, not really, I guess. For God's sake, she didn't even wait to finish the last level. It was just really frustrating. I feel like there was no relationship progression. I'm just gonna put a few spoilers and then you guys can click the timestamp below. These are minor spoilers, by the way. Basically, when she finds her sister after going there for her sister, it's literally like, oh hey, cool, we found each other. It just kind of brushes past that and then just focuses on the fact that she needs to finish the competition. Also, the romantic relationship in this was just, I did not feel any love for each other other than lust. At some point I was like, cool, the sex scenes are great, however, where is the connection? I just don't understand. I will say the plot twist at the end I did not see coming, and it did surprise me, but it did not make up for the fact that I felt like it just felt short for me, and I felt like I read something so different than when everyone was reading, because everyone was raving about this and I was so excited for it. But yeah, ultimately I just did not really enjoy it, and I will give a warning that it's very spicy, so if you're not into that, then I would probably skip this one. And the last book I read in January was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is my second book by her. This is about two sisters who get split up during World War II. One is in Nazi occupied, well, actually, they both are, but they're in Nazi occupied France. And it's really the woman's side of the war that no one really talks about. I rated this one 4.5 stars. Kristen Hanna just really knows how to immerse you into an environment, and she just always opens your eyes to historical facts and historical situations that you never really knew about before. It was just really crazy to find out that apart from the soldiers that died in this war and died for their countries, there was also a lot of women who helped make that happen and helped get men to seek refuge or help fight against the Nazis. This was just phenomenal. I think the only thing that brought it down from a 5 stars to me was that some of the relationships seemed to have a sort of rushed connection, or sometimes there was a conclusion that was kind of tied with a bow. And obviously this is Kristen Hanna, so the ending is definitely not all rainbows and butterflies, but there were some relationships I felt like just did a whole 180, and it just seemed too convenient for me, I guess, and it kind of took me out of the story sometimes, especially since her tone sometimes was a little contradictory to what she was actually writing. Overall, I just really enjoyed all of the relationships in this. I love the sisterly bond. It was just an interesting juxtaposition of the two sisters being so different and yet showing up for their country, for France, in ways that counted. And yeah, it was just really amazing. Definitely worth the hype. I read this in like 4 or 5 days, which is ridiculous because it's like 550 pages long, but it was amazing. Highly recommend. Also, sorry if I sound stuffy right now. These allergies are literally kicking my ass right now, so I probably sound very congested. Moving on to February. February was a very good reading month for me, y'all. I do not read this much, and by this much, I mean 5 books, which is a lot for me, but I was very proud of myself. I started off with Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. This is a memoir about Michelle who loses her mom to cancer, and it's just kind of her going through the process of her grief and also connecting it to her identity and food and the way she used to connect with her mom through food, and just the understanding that she has with why her mom behaved a certain way, and kind of breaking generational trauma or like generational patterns that are kind of unhealthy. This was a 5-star read. I always rate memoirs 5 stars because it takes a lot of courage to write your story and put it out there for people. I know some people don't rate them, but honestly, 5 stars for every memoir. Regardless, this was a very excellent memoir. I related to it a lot, just parts of what she would say about how her mom passed away and how she is Korean American, and kind of how she has to reconcile the fact that it's up to her to kind of keep immersing herself in her own culture and proving to herself that she's still a part of that culture, instead of relying on her mom to be the sole person who kind of connects her to that part of her identity. And also what it means when you feel like you don't fully belong in the American culture, or in this case, her Korean culture. And I just really related to that, and also the frustration that can come with kind of growing apart from your mom in adulthood, but coming together at the end, and also coming to understand that some of the things her mom did was just projected onto her by her own mother. This was just really cathartic to kind of just read and relate to, and it was beautiful. The second book I read was The Wedding People by Alison Espach. Sorry if I butchered that. This is about our main character, Phoebe. She's basically kind of at a standstill with her life. Her husband left her to be with another woman. She realizes that a lot of her life was kind of centered around her husband, and she doesn't really like her job anymore. So she goes to this hotel that she was supposed to go to with her husband, and it's a very extravagant place and she plans on ending her life there. But what she doesn't know is that she's the only person who's not a part of the wedding party. And so while she's there, she runs into the bride. She kind of just blurts out that she's planning on committing suicide on the island, and she's kind of like, but don't worry about it, like, I'll be super quiet about it, you won't even know until your wedding's over. And the bride is like, absolutely not, you cannot kill yourself on my wedding day. Like, if you came here with that plan, you can wait a week at least, like, wait till my wedding's over. And of course, it's about this very serious subject, but somehow this book just was able to take this very serious subject and apply so much care to it. It's kind of just a piece on humanity, on how people can touch our lives in unexpected ways, and how sometimes we just get into a place where we fill ourselves with, this is how my life should be, or we don't realize how unhappy we are until something changes and we realize that we've been letting fear take the steering wheel the entire time. This was just so funny too. I don't remember the last time I actually burst out laughing a couple times reading this book. It was absolutely fabulous. I rated it 4.5 stars, but honestly, it might be a 5-star read. It might be one of those books where the 5-star feeling kind of just creeps up on you. It did take me a little bit to get used to kind of the tone of the writing. It was very unique in my opinion, but once I got into it, it was just amazing. And although it's about this very serious topic, it just shows you the hope and the joy and the love, and I don't know, it was just an amazing piece of literary fiction and I love it so much. Up next is my February book club pick, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I rated this one 4 stars. This is about Clementine. She moves into her late aunt's apartment, and growing up she would always hear these magical, whimsical stories about how the apartment can slip 7 years back in time or 7 years forward. And at this point in time, she is a very girl boss book publicist, and she basically has sacrificed everything for work. One day she comes home and realizes that there's a freaking stranger in her apartment, and she's like, what are you doing here? Strange man that's just in her apartment. And then he says that he's there because her aunt said that he could lease the apartment. And then basically she just realizes that the apartment went back in time. Of course, it throws her back into the present, and then she really hopes she can find this mystery man, and it kind of just goes from there. This is really cute. I really enjoyed, I don't even remember his name, and it's not on the back. Hello? You gotta be kidding me. I can't. Oh, yeah. Oh, Ewan. How could I forget that? I really liked their relationship together and how it kind of blossomed, and how it really emphasizes to give ourselves grace while we go through change, and I really appreciated the way it spoke of grief. It was really refreshing to read something where it kind of says you're allowed to change your mind in the middle of your life, because I feel like usually, especially with career, it's always like you pick your one career, or your entire life is about finding the one job that's going to make you happy for the rest of your life. And this was like, something can make you happy in the moment, but then it's okay to just change your mind if that's not what it is anymore. Like, who we are 5 years ago, or in this case 7 years ago, isn't who we are 7 years from now. It's also nice like seeing her meet Ewan from like 7 years ago and thinking like, oh, what happened to this dream-filled boy, and then reconciling it with the adult that he's become 7 years later, and her thinking that change is a bad thing. But in reality, she does realize that at his core he still is who he's been, but he's just more mature now, and he goes forward into the world in a different way, and that's totally okay too. I will say at the beginning I did find some of the dialogue to be a little bit cringy at first, but then once we got, that was only like the first 10%, and then it was like the rest of it seemed almost like it was written in a different headspace almost. So I just really like this. This was a really cute romance. It had really nice life lessons. It was just really cute. It's all about the timing. Love always stays in everything that we do at the end of the day. And a man who freaking waits 7 years for you? Are you joking? Need I say less? Next, unfortunately this is on the other end of the spectrum of being worth the hype, is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Listen, I think I should just stay away from popular thrillers because clearly there's something wrong in my noggin that I just do not enjoy the same things that everyone else does. However, this is about Sarah Morgan. She's one of the best criminal defense attorneys ever. She's also a workaholic. We love to see all the girl boss representation I've been reading this month. And then Adam, her husband, ends up having an affair because he feels neglected or whatever. One day he gets confronted by the police and is like, homeboy, your mistress is dead in your cabin. You're probably the one who killed her. He's accused of murder of his mistress, and so he has to call Sarah and be like, hey wife, hey girl, I may be in jail because they think I killed my mistress, and also, by the way, I was having an affair and cheating on you. So yeah, not the ideal situation. Sarah basically decides to defend him and be his lawyer. And then you just go through the process of seeing, did Adam actually kill the girl? I did not like this. I rated it 2 stars. First of all, I had to suspend the belief, y'all. Suspend. Being a criminal justice major, there is a lot of things where I was like, that could literally not happen legally. And also the fact that she represented her husband, first of all. But you know what? I was like, I'll put that all aside as long as this is a good investigation. And listen, that didn't even happen. So I was a little angry. I was very mad at the end because it was just a cop-out to me. And then when I was looking at reviews, I ended up getting this other very classic thriller that's apparently actually good spoiled for me because they were like, hey, if you're gonna end it like that, which reminds me of this classic thriller, at least do it well like that classic thriller. And then I was like, dang it, now I can't even read that because now I know the ending. However, I can't say it without spoiling it, but I thought it was going to be like an actual investigation and actually finding new evidence and like going along for this ride, and that just did not happen. And I was very disappointed. I was so disappointed. Like, what the heck? Like, what did I read or what am I missing that everyone else got? Because this has been everywhere and everyone loves this. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I am so sorry for anyone who really likes that. But do not fret. I ended the month with a great book in my opinion, and that is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is my first Lynn Painter book. I give this one 5 stars. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. My first 5 stars, not including the memoir, of the year. And oh my god, this is so cute. So cute, so cute. So it's about Liz Buxbaum, and her mom passes away, and her mom was a screenplay writer, and her mom would always write these really fantastic rom-coms about basically these golden retriever, cinnamon roll, poster child men sweeping women off their feet and just being a golden boy, basically. She essentially had this childhood friend who she had a crush on when she was little, and then he ends up moving back, and she was like, this is fate, like this is literally what my mom has been writing about, and I need to go to prom with him. So she she's literally a teenager, she don't have money, but she literally goes up to her childhood friend, I guess they grew up together as well, and her neighbor Wes, and is like, hey, you guys are kind of friends and I need someone to talk me up so that he will take me to prom. And they've been arguing over this parking spot right in front of the house. And so she's like, if you do this for me, I will give you that spot forever. And he is like, say less, I will do whatever you want. It has the trope of neighborhood boy, or the boy next neighborhood boy, the boy next door, and also enemies to lovers, kind of. But yeah, this was just so cute. There's something about like high school romances to me when it's done well and not an adult acting like they know how a teenager talks, and then it's just full of like weird social media. They totally forgot what it was like to be a teenager. But if it's done well, in this case it really was, it's just so enjoyable, because in that time frame it's really when things just feel all or nothing, and there's this beauty of really thinking that these things are going to make your entire life, and in reality it's just so inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, and everything just feels like there's endless possibilities. Anyway, most of you guys have experienced being a teenager, so I don't have to rant about that. But it reminds me of the show The Summer I Turned Pretty, how it just like encapsulates like being a teenager and like summertime and stuff. Obviously this is like set during the school year, but it reminds me of that. Or The Duff, if you guys have. I haven't read The Duff, but the movie, for me, it's a little cringy, but if you can kind of put aside the little cringiness, like, it reminds me a lot of The Duff, and I love The Duff. It was just very enjoyable. I thought it was pretty funny, actually, and very realistic, like the way they talk to each other. And the yearning, bring back yearning. I do not want any of this like instant gratification stuff. I need the yearning. It was just so cute, and just the fact that she loves all these like classic rom-coms, and like her just talking about them with Wes sometimes, and I don't even know how to explain it. It was just such a well done romance, and a lot of people don't like the main character, and I'm just like, okay, y'all, like, at the end of the day, she is a teenager, and you can't expect her to be working at her 25-year-old brain self. I mean, I know 25-year-olds even who act like this sometimes. She's just a human. She's just a little human dealing with not wanting to be judged. So leave her alone. Give her some grace. Yeah, it was fantastic, and I am so happy I got to end it on a 5-star read. I literally just want to reread this again, and respectfully, I don't want to read the sequel because apparently they break up, and I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather just stay in my rose-colored glasses world and pretend that they grow old and nothing bad ever happens to them ever. Alrighty guys, that was my January and February wrap up. I hope you had fun watching this. And by the way, for March, my book club that I made on Fable, it's called Bottomless Reads, same like my here on YouTube, but it's Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. We will be reading this for March. It's a thriller. Each month we read a different genre. So January this was historical fiction with The Nightingale. Last month it was romance with The 7-Year Slip. This month is going to be thriller. My club is all about kind of sipping different genres and expanding our palettes in the literature world. So if you guys want to join, I'll leave a link down below in the description box. I'm so happy to be back, and I will definitely be back with more videos. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and week, and I will see you soon. Bye!